study and divide the causes of the disease associated, namely vascular, inflammatory, neurological, metabolic, infectious and genetic. Now most common disease, diabetes mellitus, which is the first vascular systemic disease which affects the eye. Diabetes mellitus, it involves almost entire part of the eye from the ocular surface up till the last part, that is the optic nerve, and patient may have present with normal vision, but some serious retinopathy can be going inside the eye in the retina. These are the various ocular conditions present in diabetes mellitus with direct association showing diabetic retinopathy, cataract, AION, that is anti-ischemic optic neuropathy, diabetic papillopathy, choroidopathy and ocular motility disorders. And it is also a known risk factor from other multiple eye conditions, namely primary open angle glaucoma, neovascular glaucoma and ocular ischemic syndrome. Now this picture, it depicts the changes in the diabetic retinopathy. It is showing a comparative analysis of the coronary artery of the heart, glomerular capillary of the kidney and retinal, that is eye, the changes which are glowing on, and it closely mimics the changes in the glomerular capillary as well. Therefore, more significant, more severe is the diabetic retinopathy, more significant will be the kidney involvement. Diabetic retinopathy, it is probably the best known and most studied ocular complication of diabetes mellitus. The early changes are asymptomatic, but screening is essential. Even a patient of having vision of 6/6 can have retinopathy changes in the fundus. Therefore, regular screening is essential. At the time of in type 2 diabetes mellitus, the patient should be screened at the time of detection, and in type 1 diabetes mellitus, within 5 years of diagnosis, patient should be screened. Despite having a normal vision, patient may not complain of any ocular complaints, but a baseline screening should be done. Now this picture is showing the progression of the disease once it progresses from non-proliferative stage to the proliferative state, that is new vessels are formed. Then it is known as a stage of neovascularization. This condition increases the risk of blindness, and therefore we should not wait for the this condition to arise and should screen the patients earlier. This is the classification of diabetic retinopathy. If patient is not having any changes, we should screen at the time of diagnosis and at least annually, once a year, fundus examination should be done. Now most common association of diabetes is with cataract. In the literature, it has been studied that presence of diabetes, it increases the risk of cataract approximately 2 to 5 times. This flowchart, it gives the it explains the synergistic effect of polyol pathway induced oxidative and osmotic stress which is involved in the etiology of the diabetic cataract. Now next most common vascular disease which affects the eye is hypertension. High BP, it causes damage to small vessels in the eye and it is called hypertensive retinopathy, which is the direct effect, and also it can have choroidopathy, optic neuropathy, and it also increases the risk of other diseases, most commonly diabetic retinopathy. This is a flowchart which depicts the pathophysiology of the hypertensive changes in the eye. And whatever changes are happening in the eye, it can be visualized non-invasively through retinal imaging techniques through a naked eye, and it mimics synergistically with the changes which are happening in the other target organs, that is brain, heart and kidney. Now these are the changes which happen in a patient of a hypertensive retinopathy. Namely the arteriovenous changes, hemorrhages and cotton wool spots. And these are just not a finding of eye. It suggests that something complicated is going inside our system also. Therefore, we need to refer the patient at the time of diagnosis of hypertension. Screening should be done. Maybe a baseline screening followed by annual screening. This is a classification of hypertensive retinopathy. Now, this is something serious. This is a retinal artery occlusion. It is synonymous to the stroke in the eye. Sometimes what happens, like we have studied in stroke happens, brain is affected, but that part of the body is paralyzed. But in retinal artery occlusion, this is the normal fundus, and when retinal capillaries are paralyzed, the retina turns pale and patient presents with sudden paleness, loss of vision, and we have a window period of 90 minutes to save that patient. It is associated with a risk of stroke. It is also a medical emergency which needs to be referred. Next, we come to the neurological link. This is a papilledema. Papilledema, it refers to the bilateral optic disc swelling and it is secondary to the raised intracranial pressure. And it is not just a primary ocular disease, it is a neuro-ophthalmic emergency. As we can see in this picture, the optic disc is clearly demarcated. But what happens in papilledema? The disc gets swelled up. This is also a medical emergency and it should be collaborated with the ophthalmics department along with neurology. Now, this coming to the further links of the neurology with the eye, we can see various patient presents with complaint of various visual field defects. And visual field defect, they localize something is going inside the brain even before the imagings are done. Need not remember whatever the names are there, but we can actually patient presence की हमें जो है अंदर की तरफ नहीं दिख रहा है, आपका चेहरा साफ नहीं दिख रहा है, आधा चेहरा दिख रहा है या ऊपर का आधा चेहरा दिख रहा है, उस हिसाब से हम ये अंदाजा लगा सकते हैं कि कुछ ब्रेन में भी उसके पैथोलॉजी हो सकती है. These are the visual field clues कि हमें कब सस्पेक्ट करना है कि ब्रेन डिजीज है, and it could be a cause of underlying brain pathology along with the symptoms which are given by the eye. Now, coming to the infectious pathology, tuberculosis, it is very common in our Indian setting. We should not ignore this condition, and eye involvement is often missed. Symptoms can be mild, but damage can be significant. Patient presents with complaint of blurring of vision, floaters, redness. Not all red eyes are conjunctivitis. We should not treat कि अगर पेशेंट की लाल आंख है तो हमने उसको एंटीबायोटिक दे दिया. It is not, मतलब red eyes are common, but associations are also important, equally important. If patient presents with red eyes associated with pain, photophobia, या फिर बता रहे आंखों के सामने कुछ तैर रहा है जिसे हम floaters कहते हैं, तो this should be taken something seriously. This picture shows the involvement of the eye, red eyes, then these fundus is also involved. An absence of pulmonary TB, it does not rule out ocular TB. जरूरी नहीं है कि उसके लंग्स भी इन्वॉल्व हो, उसको टीबी प्रेजेंट हो तभी आंख में टीबी होगी, ऐसा नहीं है. नेक्स्ट मोस्ट कॉमन इन्फेक्शियस डिजीज इज HIV, और इट कैन बी लाइक प्रेजेंट इन एनी immunocompromised patient undergoing any chemotherapy or any organ transplant disease patient, that should be taken seriously, and it is one of the most aggressive eye condition. The vision loss is rapid, and if patient is not referred urgently, we can lose the sight of the patient. Next, coming on to the autoimmune disease, that is the thyroid eye disease. It is most commonly associated with thyroid dysfunction. Most commonly, orbital tissues and extraocular muscles are affected, so it leads to the prominent eyes, which we call as proptosis. Patient often this disease is often noted by the physicians, and patient comes with complaint of lid retraction या फिर double vision के complaint के साथ. And these are the red flags. If patient comes with complaint of prominent eyes associated with decreased vision, or there is pain on ocular movements, eye movements, then we should refer that patient. This condition is showing the before and after picture, and it is not merely a cosmetic problem. Thyroid eye disease बस एक cosmetic issue नहीं है. It can affect the ocular surface, and it can also lead to blindness due to the compression of the optic nerve by the underlying enlargement of the extraocular muscles. Now, most importantly, we should always take the drug history from the patient. It is very important. These are the long list of medications, but we'll concentrate basically on few medications. First of all is corticosteroids. Before prescribing the patient corticosteroid, a baseline visual analysis and intraocular pressure should be measured, because it can lead to the formation of posterior subcapsular cataract as depicted by the picture, and also glaucoma, which requires screening. And it's not like कि day 1 पे ही उसको glaucoma या cataract develop हो जाएगा. It depends upon the duration and dose of the steroid given. And it also depends upon the patient's susceptibility. Patients are high steroid responders, they develop glaucoma earlier, and patient may be a non-responder to steroid, but we need to evaluate the patient prior. Next, most common medication is ethambutol. We all know it is given in the anti-tubercular treatment, and before starting ethambutol, a baseline visual analysis, color vision and visual field changes should be assessed. As depicted in this picture, the nerves turns pale, and this is often irreversible. There is optic neuropathy, retrobulbar neuritis, and recently WHO has removed this drug ethambutol, and they have placed moxifloxacin because of this ocular complications associated with it. Next, most common drug which is given in autoimmune condition by rheumatologist in systemic lupus erythematosus or rheumatoid arthritis, hydroxychloroquine. What happens in this drug gets deposited on the macula, and it given for longer duration, it can cause bullseye maculopathy. Therefore, drug history is very important, and patient evaluation and screening prior to starting of the drugs is very important for saving the vision of the patient. Now, these are various syndromes. In these syndromes, we can see that the subtle ocular signs which are given prior, they save not only the eye of the patient but also life of the patient. As some systemic disease, they show the ocular signs years before the coming of the systemic symptoms. Now, if any child presents with leukocoria, this is one of my patient presented with leukocoria, white eye reflex, then this is something serious. It can be a precursor to the underlying ocular tumor, that is retinoblastoma. Or if patient presents with misalignment in the eye, that is squint, or nutritional deficiency, we should not miss that patient and should be referred. Now, this is the most important slide of all. If any patient present with sudden visual loss or painful red eye which is associated with decreased in vision, double vision, that is diplopia, any visual field defects, or headache which is associated with visual disturbances, or white eye reflex in children, we should urgently refer that patient to an ophthalmologist. We can refer the patient same day अगर sudden loss of vision है, acute painful eye है. Urgent referral is diplopia or double vision. And routine investigation should be done prior to starting any treatment or if patient presents with mild symptoms. Therefore, the take-home message is that eye is the early indicator of the diseases and many conditions are silent. Therefore, if we refer the patients early, it can save the vision of the patient along with the life of the patient. Therefore, all the patients, especially diabetics, hypertensives and long medication history, they should be screened prior and annually. And the patient, if the vision of the patient is normal, it should not be suspected कि उसे कोई eye disease नहीं है. Patient should be counseled to see their ophthalmologist and they should not hesitate to visit the ophthalmologist कि अगर आँख में कोई दिक्कत नहीं हो रही है तो रहने देते हैं. Thank you.